So welcome back to the TCM community, and we're here with Sandro Graca. We just caught him on his way to the annual meeting, is it? They're calling it, right?
Yep. It's the Androgen Excess PCOS Society, so it's related to polycystic ovary syndrome.
Okay, and then you were just telling me this is purely about PCOS and not really TCM related because...
It's not, no. So it's interesting, the way that I got related to this particular society was because of my work as a researcher, so not as an acupuncturist or a TCM practitioner. And yeah, just like I do for example, for a journal, or as I do for evidence-based acupuncture or Society for Acupuncture Research, I got into doing the social media for them.
Oh, so that's the, okay.
Yeah, so that's the connection. So I'm here to be present at the conference, but also to do a bit of work because, you know, just tie in coming to Rotterdam, seeing it. And it's really interesting. So yeah, we're back to the place where 20 years ago, where the significance of being here right now is that it is 20 years since the Rotterdam criteria. So for those that work within the PCOS realm, they will know, they will recognize the name. And it was here in Rotterdam at that meeting in 2003 that it was agreed what was the criteria for diagnosing PCOS.
Well, then again, it is interesting for you because you've done so much research. Well, basically, you did your master's also on PCOS,
yeah,
right?
Acupuncture for PCOS, yeah. So yeah, my idea, and for those that have been at any of my lectures or know about my work, is I prefer to be on the inside to know how, so the significance being the international guidelines for management, diagnosis and management of PCOS. And yeah, I was lucky to be in the right place at the right time, working with the right group of researchers, and they needed help to work for the guidelines. And I thought this is going to be a good opportunity for me to understand how the guidelines are developed, how they're put together. And even though acupuncture is not part of the guidelines as of now, my plan is that the more I get to know about it, and with my experience in the acupuncture research side of things, is that in the future I can contribute to shed some light on, for example, things like why we know that people with PCOS do go for acupuncture.
Yes.
So one of my questions that I always wanted to do if I had the money for my own research is why? Why do they keep going? You know, what's their reasoning? Even without asking benefits, what makes them come back? What are they getting out of this treatment that makes them come back and makes them tell other people to go as well? So that, more so than that aspect of does acupuncture work? You know, that's like we've so far beyond that right now that what really interests me is like the choices. Why are people actually choosing to go for acupuncture, and what makes them come back? So that then we can have a better understanding of how it's helping them and how it's helping the community, and then develop it in a way that it's more accessible for them.
There are more and more people choosing acupuncture or TCM for PCOS. And they are.
And it's interesting. So if you look at something that, again, will be discussed here during the meeting, which is called models of care, that you're trying to, again, help the patients with not just this condition, but with other conditions as well, to give them some guidance and get through diagnosis quicker, get them through to treatment as quickly as possible, and therefore to recovery. And one of the things that comes up all the time is that clinicians know, and researchers know too, that these women do go for acupuncture, and something else that they always talk about is yoga as well.
Oh yeah.
And they find it really beneficial. Yet, it's not part of the guidelines, and I always say, not yet. But you know, the work is ongoing. And, but again, don't be too disappointed that acupuncture is not part of the guidelines. There's no specific diet that has been recommended. There's no specific exercise that has been recommended. So it's really, it's one of the issues that it's really interesting for me to work as a researcher now, where there's this gap between what happens in clinical practice and then actually what happens, how does that get into a guideline for clinical practice? And even when it's in a guideline, it doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to be done in practice.
Yeah, that's true.
And it takes time too. One of the papers that the group that I was part of, the international team, put together says, I'm paraphrasing here, but I remember it from my talks, where it could take anything between 17 years or none at all for things to go from being in a guideline to actually being implemented. So it's small steps, and for me, because of my passion about acupuncture, and that's my bias, is that I really, really like it. My work is on trying to get as much information about it together as possible, and eventually having it as part of guidance for people looking for it.
Yeah. But that's good. I mean, baby steps, right? And small drips in a big pond, but it's gonna have that ripple effect at some point.
For those that have been, the last month has been a bit busy with talks, and I talk about this a lot, but there's something that my granddad used to say about, which was, if you can't beat them, join them, and then beat them. So it's at a conference actually just last weekend, a colleague of mine from Canada said that it reminded him of something else that was mentioned before, about you have to join that community to learn what are the issues that they're dealing with, and it's almost like you're really getting into that zone, and then once you're part of it, then you can guide and come up with solutions and talk to them in the language that they understand. So that's my plan of action. I'm not going away from practice. I'm going away from practice for a little while because I have research that I'm going to be involved in. But I really like studying PCOS, so it's a passion. So it's not acupuncture right now, but I'm hoping that myself and others that I'm trying to educate and bring along for the journey, that there could be enough of us to make a difference.
And it will work because you bring your vision, right?
Absolutely.
Once you're in this group, you have your vision about that. So.
And interestingly, so this applies to everyone practicing acupuncture or TCM, is I try, and it has worked so far. Here I am in Rotterdam right now, and it's part of how it worked, is that my advice for anyone is bring the patients as well with you. Patients have power. Patients decide what treatments they go for, and again, it's really, really important that the people that are getting acupuncture, that they know what's happening, that they're involved in the treatment process as well, because so far what I've seen is that patient groups and patient advocacy groups, they do have power. And if you think about it, those are the people that vote for politicians, that make laws and put things into power, right? So there's this circle of influence that I truly believe, and as I said, it has worked for me, that if you involve the patients in your treatment and in your cause, you're more likely to succeed.
Yeah, of course, because it is about the patients. Anyway.
Absolutely, yeah.
Well, I'd like to thank you very much, because I know you have to be at the meeting in a couple of minutes.
It's a pleasure. I really enjoyed meeting you first on camera, just like this, and then in person. So that's one of the beauties, and then one of the things that I would really advise everyone is that if you can, plan every year like 2-3 conferences that you can really, really go to and get to meet people, and you never know where those connections are going to bring you, and it has made a big, big difference for me. Here I am. I'm coming to an annual meeting, and between meeting people at conferences, hey, you're going to be in our town, maybe we just meet up. So network. Network a lot with your colleagues, with other clinicians as well, so not just acupuncturists, other clinicians, really, really important. And keep the patients in mind, because they might be really, really helpful for you in terms of your career and what we love to do, which is acupuncture and TCM.
That is what we love to do, and that's why we have this TCM community channel, to share all this information about not only TCM but natural medicine all over the world. So thanks again.
Thank you so much.
And next time at another conference.
Hey, let's do it. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Thank you so much.
Bye.